Training in the morning versus training at night. Is one actually better for muscle growth? The short answer is yes. That said, regardless of whether you opt for morning or evening workouts, maximal muscle growth is achievable. As long as you engage in resistance training regularly, maintain a sufficient protein intake, consume adequate calories, and manage your overall recovery effectively, you'll have no problem building muscle. Despite the potential theoretical advantages of working out at a certain time, it's crucial to acknowledge that practical constraints like job commitments may hinder this ideal scenario. If that's the case, prioritize consistency by selecting a workout schedule that aligns best with your availability, as it is the most essential for your long-term progress. Therefore, the considerations we will be discussing are about refining your approach toward maximizing muscle growth. Now that that's out of the way, let's take a look at what the evidence says regarding evening workouts and how they are potentially better than morning workouts for muscle growth. Research seems to point out both indirect and direct causes as to why evening workouts lead to better rates of hypertrophy. First, this study, published in 2016, looked to compare the effects of morning versus evening training on physical performance, muscle hypertrophy, and serum hormone concentrations. Initially, both groups gained muscle at similar rates, but in the second half of the 24-week training period, the evening group saw significantly greater increases in muscle mass. And although not statistically significant, strength improvements were also better in the evening group. This brings us to another study that looked at how daily hormonal variations may optimize muscle growth. They found that training in the evening led to higher IGF-PB3 levels and lower levels of cortisol. Thus, they concluded that resistance training in the evening appears to augment some markers of hypertrophic potential. Another potential mechanism contributing to increased muscle growth involves acrophase, the time of day when maximum performance is achieved. Research about this suggests that muscle torque production peaks in the early evening, indicating that muscles perform more effectively at night. Extrapolating this information, higher force production leads to the activation of more high threshold units, resulting in increased muscle activation and consequently a greater stimulus for hypertrophy. Another study comparing morning and evening workouts saw a 3.1% increase in lean body mass for those who trained at 6 p.m. and a less than 1% increase in those who trained at 10 a.m. And lastly, this study, published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research, found that individuals who exercised in the evening exhibited a slight edge in muscle growth compared to those who trained in the morning. Now, before you shift your schedule to accommodate for later training sessions, there are two things you can do to make up the difference. First, since there is a relationship between core temperature and performance, this study recommends doing active warm-ups if you're going to train in the morning. Simply take more time to get a sweat going. Ideally, you would do a combination of cardio to get your heart rate up and a few warm-up sets to pump blood into the specific muscles you'll be training. Second, caffeine is your friend. This study specifically looked at how you can counteract the morning reduction in neuromuscular performance. The results indicate that caffeine ingestion reverses the morning neuromuscular declines. More specifically, ingesting caffeine at a dose of 3 milligrams per kilogram of body weight raised performance levels similar to those that did early evening workouts. Nevertheless, the current data clearly indicates that the time of day is not irrelevant when it comes to optimizing your training. For many individuals, training in the evening seems to be the better approach. Since you've had multiple meals, the larger glycogen stores will help to better fuel your workout, and the high protein intake will help to counteract muscle breakdown and elevate protein synthesis. Most also simply prefer to train at night to end the day on a positive note. Ultimately, while this video underscores the relevance of training timing to some extent, it should not outweigh the importance of your individual preferences, which will largely impact your training adherence. The reality is, for the majority of us that cannot dedicate their lives to working out, the best time of the day to hit the gym is whenever you have the time. Did you find this video helpful? If so, click the like button below as it'll truly help out the channel. Also, if you want to continue optimizing your training, then watch our video on why you should be resting 3 minutes between sets. In it, we discuss why short rest periods could be killing your muscle gains and what the science says about longer rest periods for muscle growth. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe for more videos and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next one. Peace.